Hey guys, Forex last one BK Forex. Welcome to our Forex daily technicals for 7/23/13. As always, trading Forex on margin carries a high level risk may not be suitable for all investors. I ask you to read this disclaimer very carefully, understand all the risks associated with trading Forex on margin, and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Well, dollar definitely looks like it's taken a dive at the start of this week, especially against dollar yen, which just had a major turn yesterday or today. And as we're opening up Asia, looking weak again at around 99.33, we broke the 99.50 level and just swooshed down, I guess, on the open of the Nikkei. You have to watch this very carefully because we start coming down towards the 99 level, start breaking down this whole level of support. That's going to be a much more significant break in dollar yen. It could potentially foreshadow a deeper retrace all the way into the 96, 95 level. If you look at it technically, we really basically have a failed third high here. You know, this was the swing high at 103.50. 101.50 was the other high. We tried to capture that a couple days ago, and we failed very, very badly last night. So until we recapture this 180 back again, the bias in dollar yen remains very negative, and the pressure remains to the downside, especially if we start breaking 98s. We kind of open up the waterfall all the way to the downside. So dollar looking weak, obviously, against the yen. Against the euro, it looks a little bit better, but the euro also had a big break today. We took out the 32s and kind of hanging out here right below the 32 level, sort of priming ourselves for a possible run a little bit higher. A break higher into the 32.25s pretty much clears all of this overhead resistance and opens up a way all the way out to the 34s. So dollar against the euro also looking like it's ready to start the afterburners. And then, of course, the pound today was much stronger. And we've been talking about this for a while, that the key to the pound was the 53 break. The 53 broke today. And the fact that the 53 broke, it really looks like a pretty serious breakout at this point, all the way to the upside. We don't have any overhead all the way to the 55s, 56s. So pound dollar looks very, very strong to the upside as long as we have this anti-dollar move coming in all around. And I think part of it may be, it's hard to explain, I think, with the switch in sentiment. Perhaps it was the fact that the market got really primed for some tightening or tapering, and the fact that the Fed started to talk the tapering off, and the fact that U.S. data has started to slow down a little bit. We had bad housing data today. All of that suggests that the Fed is very likely to remain very accommodative for a super long time, and that's putting the pressure on the dollar after we've had a nice big run on the anticipation that it was going to get tightened up. The last thing I want to take a look at today, a relatively short look at the currencies today. Aussie is looking relatively healthy, and this is, of course, a relative commentary. But if you look at this kind of very closely, one thing that you sort of notice, and Aussie has just been beaten up continuously over the last several weeks. The one thing you do notice is this 90 is holding very well. We have built a very, very strong, almost a quasi-inverse head and shoulders. And the only thing that's missing from a true positive structure in the Aussie is a break above 93s. If we can take out 93s and hold it, if we can just hold it above 93s, that really opens up the ground to rebuild us all the way up to 95s. So this anti-dollar rally across every single sector looks relatively interesting. Last thing I just wanted to look at was the two other calm dollars. I wanted to look at dollar CAD because that's been drifting towards the 103s, and although not as productive against the dollar as the other currencies have it. And this 103, 103.50 still remains a very interesting support for dollar CAD. A break through the 103s opens up a run all the way out to the 102s. So worth watching it over here. And lastly, the Kiwi slowly but surely making its way back up to 80. Again, a very key level here as we are circling around to see if we can break out higher. So Kiwi takes out 80. It opens up a run all the way out to the 81s on a breakout basis. So all across the board, we generally have a pretty strong anti-dollar move here in the making. Have to see if it has some continuation and some legs. Dollar yen, of course, as I said, below 99.50, and kind of trying to probe and see if we can push to today's lows around 99.20s. And the critical level here is whether they're going to be able to sell all the way down to 99s and just how much support there's going to be there on a test. So worth watching all of these developments. Despite a very slow week, there's a lot of levels that are getting broken slowly and surely, and definitely worth watching. Wishing you guys the best of luck and the best of trading. This is Boris Schlossberg from BK Forex over now.